And we're live. Let's do it.
What's up, good sir?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good.
How was the commute to Jersey?
It was pretty good. Changes to Caucus.
How long?
Like 45 minutes.
Where are you living in the city?
I am in Brooklyn, so I had to go. Actually, it took me. I had to get to Penn Station then.
Wow, you did a lot of work getting here.
I know. You better make it worth it.
I don't know. You better make it worth it. Let's
exactly.
See if it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
cool.
the mindset.
So for this podcast, I guess I'm looking at this camera. Obviously, Jack Lawler here with us. This is actually our first one. Before they were called FaceTime podcasts. We don't know if we'll stick with FaceTime still. Okay. Do you have any suggestions for titles, podcast titles?
Good. That sounds good to me.
That's it?
Yeah, that's.
You're supposed to be the content idea guy, and you say yes. That's like the last thing you're supposed to do.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'll think. Give me some time.
Not coming back to you for more of these. Okay. So yes, with Jack right now, we'll talk a little bit about, he is a content creator. Is that what your title is? How would you give yourself a title?
I would say writer and content creator.
Writer and content creator, yes. Yeah. Went to high school together.
Yep.
North Academy. Shout out North Academy.
Yep.
So one of us had better experiences than the other there. We won't identify which one that is.
Top 350 football programs in northern New Jersey.
Not even close, but there's probably 330 football programs in New Jersey. So we do some work together and this I feel like
you're in work mode right now.
Yeah. In this podcast, we're just gonna, hear about your journey, right? As a content creator, for anyone who's interested in that, learn a little bit more about that. And then, 1 year into full-time entrepreneurship, or not even a full year.
6 months, 5 months.
Right. So we'll dive into that a little bit too.
Cool.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to kick off with? Anyone you want to say hi to? Your girl's definitely watching at home.
I want to say hi. Yeah, sure. Nicole, hello. How are you?
Good.
Cut that. Yeah.
That's important. Okay, cool. So first things first. Right now you are doing what? Let's just
so I'm full-time content creation. So I'm doing a bunch of different things. Work.Retire.Die is the brand and the business that I've been growing for the last few years. Okay. So I'm doing that. I make some money off of it.
Okay.
I've also spent a lot of time working on the Odds Factory, which you and I work with.
Yes. Good plug.
Sports gambling site. Yes. Check it out.
Uh-huh.
I'm writing 2 or 3 columns a week for that, and then managing the content on site.
Cool.
So almost like an editor in chief kind of thing.
Cool.
So we have 6 or 7 writers. I give them topics. So that's kind of more jobby.
Yep.
But it's still fun. I get to write about sports.
Nice.
In a funny way.
Do you know anything about sports?
I know a lot about sports.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can't play them as well, but I can write about them.
Okay, that works. That's good.
And then on the side, I just started this new project called the Comma Club. So I'm working with this media company to launch this new this new page called the Comma Club on TikTok and Instagram. So basically I play 3 or 4 different characters, kind of making fun of washed up frat stars who are in their 20s.
Nice.
Like myself.
Yep.
So that's been fun. And I write screenplays. I act in comedy.
You do it all.
I do it all. It's a lot.
So we'll dive into each one of those later on. But to start off, how? When did you start to decide that you want to do this content stuff? When did you even start to think you were any good at it? Let's go. Let's bring it back to the beginning.
Yeah. So growing up, I was always into sports, football, basketball, baseball.
Uh-huh.
In high school, I started to do some acting and writing stuff. So I was in our high school acting program. Cool. I wrote for the newspaper. I did the humor section. So I did that. I'm sure you remember. No?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you were kind of halfway there most of high school.
If you can't tell, this is our humor with each other. He started this back in high school, and now it's been however many
Zaire
years.
was high for most of high school. And
cut that part out.
But and then I went to college and I kind of just fell into I joined a fraternity. I was on the rugby team. I wanted to get a job. I kind of stepped away from it. And then.
So you weren't doing any of this stuff in college?
Not really. I would send a funny email. I would do a tweet. I wasn't I always wanted to be, once I knew the NFL wasn't going to happen, I kind of focused. I was I want to be a writer.
Okay.
But it's kind of a pipe dream. So I got a degree in marketing. I was an English minor. And then I took a job. I went to University of Richmond.
Cool.
So I took a job in Richmond working for Altria, which is Philip Morris. So it's big tobacco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? Okay.
Yeah, so I worked for Black and Mild. I was their brand manager. Yeah.
No way. I did not know this part.
Yeah, I was on the brand team. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that was fun. But it was very corporate. Like, it's a pretty normal job.
Yeah.
And then I moved to New York in 2017. Got another job where I was for the past 3 years.
Uh-huh.
It's called Newell Brands. So it's like another big consumer goods thing.
Uh-huh. And what was your focus there?
I was doing digital and e-commerce marketing for their kitchen brand. So Crock-Pot and Mr. Coffee was what I was doing.
Cool.
So around like, I feel like most people have this experience where I like took the job. It was fine. Like I was getting paid. Like it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Yeah. But I just always had something else I wanted to do. And I also was I think even if I didn't have this, I was getting very frustrated with corporate America.
Okay.
And I started Work.Retire.Die.
What was frustrating before we get into the Work.Retire.Die?
Yeah.
What was frustrating about corporate America? That's a conversation that I have with my team pretty consistently. For you, what was your experience in it?
I felt like I was a cog in like this huge thing, which is fine. Like, you're at a big company. I felt like a lot of what I was doing didn't really matter. Like, I'm like, if I don't fucking send this email, my boss is going to yell at me, but it doesn't like, we're going to sell less Black and Milds this year. We're going to sell less Crock-Pots this year.
Right.
And like, I feel like people take themselves very seriously, and like, I would be getting stressed out and someone's yelling at me, and it's like, why are we getting this stressed out for like an email to 50,000 Crock-Pot users about a 10% off sale we have?
Got it.
Like, why am I like losing sleep over this? So I felt like a little bit of like existential despair, like a little bit of a crisis. But I also like, I think like, I think that was kind of the root of it. I also just, it was a little boring. Like I was in marketing, which at a lot of these big companies really consists of managing agencies. So like I wasn't doing anything. I was telling people to do stuff and telling them it was good or bad. Yeah. But I was like just sending emails. Huh.
Interesting. So I did not know that that's what it was like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I was getting a little frustrated. I thought I could do something else. And
cool.
Yeah.
And then Work.Retire.Die is born.
Work.Retire.Die is born.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what it is and how it was actually like what made you decide to do that.
Yeah. So Work.Retire.Die is like a lifestyle brand that basically satirizes or parodies or just makes fun of like corporate America, young professional life, and like just life in your 20s. Okay. So like, I don't know if you really know like post-grad problems or like that kind of thing is the kind of vibe we're going for.
Did you think would you have this clear vision of what it's going to be when you were going to start it?
I didn't really. What actually inspired me is
let's hear the root of it.
When we graduated, my buddy, maybe his grandpa said it or something, was like, all right, well, you graduated, like now you just work, retire, and then you die. Yeah. And then it was just kind of like something we said. I was like, fuck, like. Because I feel like when you're in high school and college, you're like, all right, I'm getting grades. I'm going to school. Like, I'm going to college. I'm getting a job. And then you're like, this is it. Like, until they're like, there's no, like, goal. I don't know. It was just like, wow,
I feel that.
Fuck.
No, yeah. It's just working now.
Yeah, it's just working. Yeah. And, like, it takes you a while to get used to that.
Yeah.
So I originally, like, I think I got the web browser, the website, or I made the socials in 2015, 2016. I graduated 2015. Okay. I didn't do anything with it. Okay. And then a guy who was like a year or two older than me in college started this blog called like 20-something life or 20-something life. Maybe it's 20-something life. Uh-huh. And I was like, this fucking sucks. Like I could do this a lot better. I'm like, nice. I always like wrote on the side. I was like, I'm not going to let this guy beat me at the idea that I have. Yep. And I wrote a blog. It really started as a blog for the first 6 months or so. Okay. The first blog I wrote was like, it was called I did a Getting Through the Week series. So it was like Getting Through the Week Monday. Like, this is what your Monday's like. This is what your Tuesday's like. Your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Uh-huh. And I started to like send it around to friends and family. Not really family, just friends for a while. Because it was a little raunchy. Yes, definitely. And I didn't want my parents to be like, what are you doing? Because like, whatever. Yeah. And then like people started to like it. I started to do more stuff about kind of just like how-tos, like one was like getting through the week when you only have $50 in your bank account, because I was constantly broke, which is another thing I felt like I experienced corporate America. Like I was making money, but I was so unhappy that I would just like drink every weekend.
Ooh,
and like I was
point.
spending all my money.
Yeah. Were you living in the city?
I was living in the city.
Okay.
I was used to living in Richmond, Virginia, which was like half as expensive.
Yeah,
I was balling out. I had no money, so anyway, it was like part of it.
Yeah.
So I started doing the blog. Then I did the Instagram. I started to do memes, and it kind of just grew from there.
Okay. What made you go? And was this a natural progression into Instagram and memes?
Yeah, it was kind of like all my friends were on Instagram, and I wanted to like I would just send links to people in like G chats and like text them, but like I felt like you don't want to like hey, read my blog every fucking day. And so can I curse on this? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. And I just made the Instagram to be like announcing a new blog. Okay. Like check it out. So for a while I was really focusing on the blog, and then I was just making memes as we went, and I started to really get like making memes, and the Instagram really grew. And now I think most people know Work.Retire.Die as a meme page, but we really started as a website. Yeah. We do videos. We have blogs and all that shit. Yeah.
Cool. So speak to me about the first couple of months you start, right? Yeah. You're not probably getting that many views. Yeah. How long is it taking you to create this content? What did you hit a wall early on? Like, am I really doing this? Like, how do you stay motivated as a content creator? Because I think that's a big part. With some other things you could do, you could start seeing some successes. Yeah. Right. But I feel like with content, even when we're working with like agencies and we're doing like stuff for our clients, it's like you're not really seeing any traction early on. You're just putting in this work. And so, what's your process, your mindset like at that time?
I just liked it. And I was writing about my life and the life that me and my friends were living. Yeah. And it was funny. People were giving me good feedback. So I was lucky enough that I had like good friends who I could show it to, and they like were encouraging me a little bit. I think there were certainly people that were like, what is going on with Jack? Like, what is happening with this guy? Yeah. Like, he's now, like, writing a blog. Because, like, in college, especially my college friends, like, I never really did stuff like that. Yeah. Like, they always probably knew me as a funny person. But, like... Probably not. Yeah. But, yeah, so I was doing that for a while. So a lot of it was, like, friends and family. Eventually, like, at Christmas break, I, like, told my parents about it. Oh. And both of my parents have been in corporate America for their whole careers pretty much. And especially my dad found it really, I was like a little nervous but he found it hilarious. Oh, dope. And
that's good.
It was good. My parents have been supportive, but like, they didn't really know this is what I was going to do eventually. Yeah. But yeah. And then there were definitely like for the first 6 months, it was like, cool, people like it. And then it started to get some love, but then the jump was like when it was like strangers finding it, but like but it was still like a level of success that I knew it could be something cool, but it still wasn't that big, and it definitely was discouraging. A lot, and I just
kept that. It's good that that you liked the content, that you liked what you were doing, and it's you. It's like you're not like. Well, from what I read it, and you will talk about this a little bit more, it's like it's your actual experience in your everyday life.
Yeah, right? I would say it's like 70% my experience, exaggerated and fictionalized a little bit, but it's like relatable stuff. Okay, so
cool. So now you have you're working in New York. You have the blog. You have the Instagram account, right? The meme account, whatever it is. How is it now creating this content where you're talking about, you're shitting on corporate America to an extent, right? But you're in it every day. What's that? Speak to me. Like, do any people on your team, like, were they following you?
I had one friend, David, if you hello, how you doing? He's also a comedian. And he's a few years older than me, and he was like further in his comedy career. And I had like showed it to him and was like getting feedback on it from someone who wasn't my friend. Well, he was my friend, but someone who like wasn't from my circle, maybe could give me more like comedic, like artistic advice. Anyways, but he knew about it. No one else really knew about it. So I would write these blogs at work. I would make these memes at work, and like I have never used a monitor at work because one time I like was making a meme and like I forgot to take it off my monitor and someone was like, what is that? So like I've just never, I like was like, it's too dangerous. I can't risk it.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm like doing Excel
like, an inside
like this.
man at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
So fuck, man. Like I was doing it for probably 3 years working in corporate America. And like, so it was good because I got a lot of reference material.
I was gonna say, are you in there like waiting for shit
just
to happen,
waiting,
like being in the scoop?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, and I didn't realize this until I quit, but like, it is very draining to be, first of all, that unhappy all the time. Like, I was pretty unhappy, and it was hard to find the creative energy. And it's also like you put in 8 hours of work, like it's hard to like make a meme. Like you're just dead. Yeah. And I worked. For years, I worked every night on it. I would wake up early and get to work an hour before. My boss would be like, "Oh, Jack, what are you doing here?" Yeah. And like, but I'm writing a blog about how much I hate you. not my actual bosses, but like I actually did like my bosses a lot. But yeah, it was a grind and it was hard. But
you had to do it.
I had to do it.
That's cool. Okay, so now you're at the point you mentioned it already. You end up deciding that you want to quit.
Yep.
Talk to us about that process, right? Because I think that's common. One thing you speak on is like doing the late night stuff. So for me, I did corporate America, which was a startup.
The sandal thing?
Yeah, it was like a startup, which wasn't even that. It was just so dramatic to me. I was like, this is miserable. But it was like, yeah, like a basketball court. Right. Like we could do whatever we wanted in there, but I was like, this sucks. And I lasted like 8 months. Yeah. And I was doing the same thing. I was working and then doing my own thing. Yeah. Afterwards. But you went through it, right? So at what point do you decide, okay, I'm tired of doing this and I'm done? Or was there something that happened?
Yeah, I feel like I had wanted to quit for a long time. It was always money. I just didn't have enough money to like. I'm like very bad at. I spend a lot of money, like especially when I'm going out. I spend a lot of money.
Right. What are you doing this weekend? You want to
go out? I can't anymore. But the pandemic. I moved home and I saved up about $10,000, which is not a lot, but it is more than I've ever saved up before, and. I was kind of getting the point where I was like, over the summer, I was like, Work.Retire.Die is getting bigger. I also had made some pretty good progress on some of my other comedy stuff on the side. Like I wrote a pilot that did well in a lot of these festivals. And I was like, okay, I know I can write for TV and movies if I really apply myself. Like I had gotten enough validation and I had enough balls in the air that I was like, it's kind of now. So I decided... I remember actually, we got a shore house and one of my friends was just like, dude, like, when are you going to quit your job? Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, and I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, because I had always been like, I guess I can't quit my job. Like, I want to be a normal person. But it was like, it's like, just fucking do it. And like, I couldn't stop thinking about that for like a week. Like, I couldn't really sleep. I was like, why haven't I quit my job? And I eventually decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to do it. I need like 1 or 2 more paychecks. So I'm going to do it in like a month from now. But like I told my family, I told my girlfriend who I lived with at the time, and I told my friends, like I'm going to quit my job. I didn't obviously tell work yet. Yeah. And the second I said that, like I just like felt so much better. And it's really like you reached out to me about the Odds Factory and I was like, I think you'd reached out in the past and I was like, I can't really do it. I have a job. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this could be like a way to make some money while I figure it out. And now it's gone into a bigger thing. I'm very happy with it. But but the crazy thing that happened was like 2 weeks before when I decided I was going to quit in 4 weeks. So you basically give 2 weeks notice, right? My boss set up a meeting with me and I had been getting like promoted and like doing well in corporate America. And she was like, hey, you've been doing great this year, because one of my other bosses was on maternity leave. And I like both my bosses a lot. She was like, you've been doing great this year. We're going to give you a raise of like 10%. So I was making like $105K, which was like the most I'd ever made. Yeah. And I knew I was going to quit in 2 weeks. And I was like, thank you. Wow. But like, and I was like, this is almost like I'm being tested a little bit. Yeah. Like, I was like, do you really want to quit? Like and I did. I quit after that I got a paycheck, then I quit. And
that's crazy how that works. I feel like that was a test. Like the work that does that stuff. And the fact that I reached out to you at that time. Totally. Right? Was I before or after you got that?
You were before. I think maybe before. I don't really remember.
So be honest, when you got that raise, were you just like, I'm still going, or were you like,
I was like, I'm still going. My girlfriend was like, are you sure you don't want to like just wait for a few more paychecks? And I was like, listen, I'm like, if I've mentally done it, like I can't flip that switch again. Mm-hmm. And and then I had another opportunity to come up to like make a video for like. And it's just interesting since I've quit, the amount of stuff that's come to me. So, like, I think when I quit Work.Retire.Die, Instagram was probably at, like, 20K. Maybe it was at, like, 15K when I decided. And the day I quit my job, I got, like, reposted by this middle-class fancy. It's, like, some big meme page. Mm-hmm. And I picked up, like, 3,000 followers the day I quit my job. And I was like, God, like, I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. And it's grown. Like, we're over at 50K now. And, like, everything I've done has been growing. Like I've had things fall into my lap a little bit that like just from like you do one job, you do this other, and I've kind of learned like the freelance life a little bit. Yeah. So
it's crazy how that works. I feel the same way. I feel like once you put it out there and you're all in, but I think for most people, especially like I said, for me it was different because I never was really all the way in. I knew I was never really trying to go in. So when people ask me, can't really speak on it. But I feel like once you're in it and you have like working for someone and doing corporate, like I graduated and immediately it was like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. So it's a different set of challenges, but I didn't have any security ever, right? It's hard to turn away from the security.
Definitely.
And I think once you do that, you put it out there, subconsciously, you're like, okay, I'm willing to do whatever, right? And I think everything falls into place because of that. And it's continuing to kind of grow and build for that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so leave your job.
Yeah.
What happens now? What's the game plan? Did you have enough of a? And this is where I really want to dive into this for this podcast too, because I feel like for full-time content creators, right?
Yeah.
Because you kind of know where you want to go, what you want to do, but even as you explained in the beginning of the podcast, you can go different ways, right? So how do you juggle that? How do you decide what's going through your mind and stuff right now?
So like to me, like I think it's helpful to think about like what's your goal up here and what are like the goals up here, right? So like how do you get to this bigger goal? Okay. So like my goal is to be a professional comedian, writer, actor. So it's like comedy, making a living from comedy.
Got it.
I do a bunch of different things. So like I'm good at social media. Like I've been able to build Work.Retire.Die and like that has helped me get this other thing I do, the Comma Club, that's gotten noticed by people who are good at social media. And I get to do funny videos. I like to write. I like sports. I like working with people. I like the Odds Factory is like been good for that. Work.Retire.Die, it's like kind of my business. I like to run this business going towards that. And I also like write screenplays and pilots, and I'm like in these sketch groups, and like that's another avenue. So to me, I like having a lot of different things I'm working on. I think it makes me be very disciplined. So I'm like, I have to post twice a day for Work.Retire.Die. I have to write, like I tell myself this, I have to write 3 columns a week for the Odds Factory. I have to post every day for Comma Club. I have to work on my script. And it's like, I have a list of all these things that I need to knock out. And like, I just kind of like spend most of Monday organizing what I need to do and then just go after it.
I think that's a good point. Do you think, as much as Work.Retire.Die and us and I joke about corporate, are there things that you learned from there or gain, like, are there values from outside the paycheck and the security, right? Like,
I think there's values.
What are those?
I think like learning how to organize a business, and like I think I spent a lot of time in like marketing, like brand management and digital marketing. So like that helped me think about Work.Retire.Die as a brand.
Cool.
So we would be at these like fucking sales meetings for 2020 kickoff. And we would be talking about like, what does Mr. Coffee's brand stand for? And what are we going to do? But like, I would be taking notes and writing down like Work.Retire.Die. Like I would be following these things these tools that I got and being like, okay, these are the inputs that help drive. Like just, it is helpful to like,
once you have that vision, I think you can apply it.
Totally.
I talk with our interns, teammates, whatever here is because a lot of them still in school. it's like, okay, yeah, you experience Xclsv for a little while, and now you know this is what you want to do. But like, there's still some value in school when you know that, because now you're picking the gems out of that, right? The same thing with work. It's like now you know what it is, so you're going in looking for like what you need.
Yeah, for a college kid, the earliest you can start doing an internship, the better. So like I think when I had a job, I was an intern at some marketing company, and like when I was taking business classes, I was like, okay, whatever. And then the year after I had an internship, I was taking a business class, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. Like I know what they're talking about. This is how, like, you actually do need to know. Like, I think especially with business, which is a practical degree, like it does help to have that experience to figure it out.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah. But for me, like being a content creator, the biggest thing that has been helpful has been setting deadlines. So you and I started working together. You were helping me with Work.Retire.Die and Xclsv.
Xclsv.
Yeah, okay. I always say Xclsv, and I'm like, this is a fucking mouthful.
No, not that.
Xclsv. Yes. So you were helping me, and I think one of the things you had helped me with was focusing my like what the brand was on, like it's about work stuff, and it's about like this is what people are responding to and what they're liking. But the other thing you helped me with was you should do, like, telling me to do a weekly newsletter. So every Friday for the last 18 months, I've sent out a newsletter at 11 a.m. and it's just a new blog and a few different segments and some links to stuff I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I've been extremely disciplined, and I've written a new blog every single Friday. Like, if I'm on vacation, I wake up at 7 a.m. and do it.
That's huge.
When I was working, I would get to work and do it. And like having those deadlines just forced me to like crank out blogs, and just it's like sports. Like it's just a muscle that you have to flex.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think, because I think there's a misconception of entrepreneurship. It's, now you have more time. Right? It's like, now you can just do whatever you want. Like, what's your time like now? Like your schedule, your agendas and all that.
It's hard because a lot of my time.
Exactly. So
I'm working a lot more, but it doesn't really feel like work, and it's like a little hard. When I was working my 9 to 5, I could just shut off at 5 o'clock. It's hard for me to shut off now. Which is good and bad. Like so, like I'm like. The things I like to do are watch sports, watch movies, go on social media, and see funny stuff. Yeah. Those are the things I do for work now. So it's like I'm like chilling and watching a sports game, and I'm like, fuck, I need to like. So it's like everything I'm passionate about, I've been lucky enough to like. That's awesome. Now monetize, but it's also a little bit like. Fuck, like my entire life is like making content around it. So it can be a little hard, but.
Yeah, so is that the life of a content creator? Like, are you always seeing things, thinking of a piece of content you can make, you can shoot, like, like, how does that work?
It is for me.
In the mind.
It is for me, but, like, I'm sure there's people who it's not, like, because a lot of what I do is, like, relatable humor, which is based on real life experiences. Okay. So, like, when I have a real life experience, like, I'm not consciously thinking of it, but I'm, like, eventually, like, I write stuff down a lot. Okay. I have, like, a lot of lists. Yeah. I'm like always on Twitter, just like liking shit, on Reddit, just like I can't think of what I'm gonna do with it now, but I like that idea. Cool. So it's a little tough sometimes to turn it off.
Yeah. I want to dive into those two things, right? I know we don't have too much time, but both. So the content creation process, right? How does it start? Where do the ideas come from, right? Like, I'm not a writer. I don't do any of that stuff, right? There's a reason why.
I know, yeah.
There's a reason why. But for you, like, do you already have a list of things you're saying, I'm gonna pick this, or is it? I also heard one time in a podcast that sometimes it's just like timing. You need to take advantage of when you feel super creative. So it could be 8 o'clock in the morning. It could be in the middle of the night. You wake up and you have an idea. Do you do that? Like, how do you function as a content creator?
I think both of those. Like, that's a good point. Like, there are some times when I don't feel it, but what I'm like if it's like 1 o'clock on a Tuesday and I like just can't get a good funny idea out or a good meme, I'll use the example of memes. Like, I have a couple Reddit threads that they have like meme pictures that people have been using for memes, and I'll just go through them and like find 5 or 6 and just put them in a file and just like brain dump ideas that like I can't really do anything with, but like even if I'm not feeling creative, it's like I can outline what I want to say. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like my brain is dead, but like I can still spit out like
Got it.
And then pull the pieces together tomorrow.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's, but you're right. It's like taking advantage of those moments when you are feeling creative to just go for it. I always wake up early on Friday and write this newsletter, which has been good because it's like I just shut everything out, write for 2 hours. And
that repetition definitely helps.
Yeah. But like it's tough. This TikTok thing I've been doing is tough because it's like you got to making a video every day is a little hard.
How's TikTok to you?
It's good. Yeah, I actually I was never a big TikTok guy. My girlfriend fucking loves it, and like which is you're like lying in bed and you just hear like I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like for someone flipping through TikTok is the most annoying thing ever. Like
I don't do.
Yeah, it's just like sounds, but whatever.
Got it.
But it's been good because she's been extremely helpful. Where like she will give me ideas, or like I'll show her TikTok. She's always the person that I show my stuff to first because first of all she's funny and she's smart.
Is she honest with you if it sucks?
She's very honest with me. That's good. She's very honest with me if it sucks. Probably too honest sometimes. But also like it's nice because she's a little removed from like the stuff I'm talking about, so she can say if it's funny to someone who's not in corporate America. She's a teacher, so are we good by the way? Oh, sorry. Yeah, all good. So yeah, and I like TikTok. TikTok has been good. Like I think it depends what TikTok you're on. Like you can just get your algorithm. It depends what your algorithm's like. Like I get a lot of like skits.
It's super like it knows you really well. Like, it knows the algorithm right around it. Yeah.
I
think that's why.
And like if you catch yourself liking the wrong thing, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm gonna get the same video.
Exactly.
Like, but it's cool because like I've had a couple things go like very viral.
Cool.
Like, but I think that's everyone's experience where like you can just post a video.
I think that's why people like it.
That's why people like it.
One of the big reasons.
Yeah, because most of it, it's almost like not even that big of a deal if you have a lot of TikTok followers because it's all the For You page. So like you're only seeing like you're not necessarily most people just use the For You page. Like so you're not really like looking at your feed of following all the time. I know most people don't. Like when I see my views, it's like 95% For You page.
Got it.
So like you just have to figure out like, and that's the interesting thing is like, is my video going to make sense to someone who has no idea who I am or what this brand is, right? Because it's like you, just a stranger, is going to see it. Versus like on Instagram, it's like I've 50,000 followers. They're all corporate America followers. Yeah. So they're gonna resonate with the corporate America thing.
Got it. Cool.
So that's interesting.
Okay. Another question. I'm just drilling you with questions right now.
Go for it. Yeah.
Another one for me is when you started. We talked about not getting views or whatever. It's kind of like right. I feel like and maybe you tell me it's probably a little bit more impactful earlier on, where it's like am I doing it right? But you've got progress, success now. Do you feel failures now? Like can it, like if you post a meme and it's like a bust, do you have flop? A bust? A flop. How does that?
I don't. Yeah, for the thing
like,
that
as a creative, do you take that personally?
I don't take the meme. Funny. Yeah, I was like, yo, dude, it sucks because like the ones that I always think are the funniest never do the best. Really? And I kind of have an 80-20 rule with what I do on Work.Retire.Die, where it's like 80% corporate America, 20% like a sketch thing I do with my sketch group, or like a blog about a topic that's totally random, like who's like which Disney princess am I most in love with? Like I think it's funny.
I know,
and like
when I was working with you, the Disney princess one was like
this is our biggest hit ever. Yeah,
yes, exactly. So like
sometimes I definitely did take it personally, especially with the videos. It's kind of like people were like, this is pretty funny. So I've been trying to promote this Comma Club page, which is a separate thing, and I posted a video on my story, and some guy responds to me on Work.Retire.Die and goes, how much is this kid paying you to post his mediocre sketches? Like he only has 250 followers for a reason. And I was like, so that's actually me. I started the page a week ago, and like, thanks for being a fucking asshole.
Do
like,
you get negative
I get a lot of, not a lot, I get them a decent amount. And it just blows my mind that like someone, like I'm a corporate meme page. And you're just like, dude, this fucking, like, I hate this video. This sucks. It's like, why do you have to say that? Just DM it to your friend and say that to your friend. Don't let me see that. But it was pretty funny. Hilarious. And he was like, he responded like an hour later. He was like, you know what? You're right. I'm very sorry. I was like, it's Easter Sunday. I was like, it's Easter Sunday, dude.
People be in their own fields.
I know.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I do. yeah, to answer your question, the videos sometimes it's hard not to take it personally, and you're putting yourself on the internet for strangers.
Right.
I wish I was better at it.
It's hard. I mean,
Especially
I don't
comedy,
even like
it's
to put. I don't put photos of myself up that
Yeah.
often. Like I'm trying, which is weird. Like I'm the digital marketing. You got to brand yourself. But like
Yeah.
for the longest, you wouldn't see a photo of me on Instagram just because I was like, I'm not really into that, and I didn't want the feedback. So you doing your face alone, and then on top of that, switching characters,
and like trying to be funny. People are like, this is cringy and
yes,
such.
exactly.
Like, all right, cool.
Exactly, that's interesting.
Good
okay,
to know. Yeah.
Cool. So what's next? What's the goals? Where are you working towards? How do you feel right now in your process? I know you said you're 9 months in, 6 months in.
I quit in end of October, so
okay,
5 or 6 months.
So what's next for you? What are you thinking? Where do you want this to go?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think it's hard to sometimes separate Work, Retire, Die from me personally, as like I have personal goals and then I have goals for Work, Retire, Die.
Okay.
So it's like
that's a good
Work, Retire, Die as a brand. I have always thought the goal is just grow as big as I can.
Okay.
And the thing I'd like to do down the road is write a book that's like how to survive adulthood, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
Needs to be a lot bigger for that to be feasible. We've started. I have 3 interns now. Actually, we just hired one today.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they're starting. One of them is my little brother, and he helps me with Work.Retire.Die.
Nice. Then 2
of them we started this page called Study Party Die.
Okay.
So it's like memes, and they write blogs, and like just like trying to grow the things around. We do merch.
Cool.
I probably need a merch person.
Cool.
We do really well with like coffee mugs that have like
it
says like synergy in the Supreme font, so like that kind of shit.
Nice.
Like corporate stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. It is fun to wear this stuff. Work, Retire, Die. Work.retire.die.com/shop, not slop, shop. Because like you'll be wearing like a Work, Retire, Die hat, and the cashier would be like, "Damn, like that's depressing." Yeah, he's like, "You're right," and I was like, "Yeah."
You should drop off like a card. Or something.
Yeah,
That's
like
good
promo. Come by here. But
so yeah, you think of Work, Retire, Die as its own thing.
I think Retire is its own thing, which like
I think I get caught in that. I think how do you think about it? Like, I haven't seen a disconnect yet.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, which is kind of I don't know, good or bad. How you look at it. It's just one thing for me, which is like I am exclusive.
Right.
It's just like that.
Right.
So, but what you're trying to do is a little bit more. I am Xclsv.
Yeah, Xclsv.
You have 2 different paths. I mean, and that's but they're aligned. So Work, Retire, Die is gonna be his thing, and then what about your personal?
My personal, like, I think to me the goal I was chasing for a while, and I'm still interested in, is writing for TV and movies and being in TV and movies. Mm-hmm. Crazy hard industry to break into. Yeah. I've like written a few scripts that I've gotten good feedback. I think I'm capable of it. Yeah. I think it's a hard thing to break into. To me, it's like two people I really admire are like Jimmy Tatro and Lil Dicky. Do you know who these guys are?
I know Lil Dicky.
Yeah, Jimmy Tatro is like a YouTube guy who did like all these like fratty videos, and like now he's in an ABC TV show, and he like had a movie. Lil Dicky, rapper, now he has his own TV show. Yeah, that's really good. So like obviously way behind that, but like to me it's like growing on the internet, so you're so big that they can't ignore you, then you get to do the thing you want to do.
That's awesome.
I think I mean, it's like the general goal is to write funny stuff and get paid a lot of money to do it.
That's cool.
What's the avenue to do
that? I mean, it's cool that you're going down different routes, right? I hate when people focus too much on a single thing. Yeah. Because you don't necessarily know. You never really will. I mean, especially this early on. Maybe later on you'll define it a little bit more once something requires all of your attention. Right? Yep. At one point, Work, Retire, Die might be too big where you're like, I need to do this 100%. Or any of the other verticals. Yeah. Do you think that you will ever let it go, Work, Retire, Die?
That's a good question, because like now that I'm out of corporate America, I think what Work, Retire, Die means and stands for is not just about corporate America. It's like the general sense that you get when you graduate, that like it's kind of meaning like you're kind of like a little like you're like the monotony of life. Whoa. Right.
So where do you fall in that? Are you highlighting it? Are you bringing it to people's attention?
I think
are you
it's
just
about
relating?
Bringing it to the attention, and then but also being like, to me, like knowing that nothing matters is also kind of like a nice feeling, because you're like, it's like, it can be depressing, but it's also like, well, why not just do what I want to do? Or like, why not just like, why do I care about this bullshit?
Wow, it's Work.Retire.Die. Like,
Work.Retire.Die is maybe the deepest brand of all time.
Whoa, is that inspirational?
Yeah,
wow,
maybe it is. Who knows?
Good.
A lot of our content is a little more negative.
Do you ever get feedback like that though? Of people who are like, wow, like, thank you for your content, or like,
yeah,
this actually helped
I've
me?
actually gotten a few things where like someone's like, it makes me depressed, but then it makes me happy and like makes me, and I'm like, yeah. And a lot of people who are working jobs they're miserable with are like, keep it up, like this is like great, and this helps me feel better. So I think like making fun of the stuff that makes you depressed is what I like to do. I'm less depressed now though,
That's
so
good.
it's like,
I mean, that's awesome. I didn't know. Well, I mean, obviously we were friends before, and friends. But like, I didn't know that, you know, you felt that way when you were working. Like, it was like, damn, this sucks. Right?
I think a lot of people feel that way. Like, I feel like I was really stuck in like, I go to work, I come home, I watch Netflix, I go to bed, and on Friday I drink with the same friends at the same bars. Yeah. I'm so hungover Saturday, I can't move from my couch, and then I do it all again next week. And like, you look up and you're 26 years old, and you're like, I don't even really like my it's just very easy to get stuck in like this rut. Yeah. And
do you have advice for people who are in that?
I think you just have to start. You just have to do something very small, like me writing one blog. Like, if you want to do comedy, take one class. Like, if you want to edit a music video, like download Premiere. Like, I think like it's okay to start small. Like, it took me 3.5-4 years to get to this point. Like, and it took me a long time, but like, that's okay. Like, it just, and it was something that I had that gave me, you know, it had something I could think about that I was like going after.
Right. And I think everyone has that something, right? That's like, oh, let me just start with this one thing. I think that's the cop out, where it's like, oh, but there's nothing that I like.
I'm not passionate about
it. Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing I like really like. But if you look back, or even take the time to try to think about it, or even start the process of doing something, like you said, like anything could be, you know, the start of what it is.
You don't have to quit your job to become a chef. You can still like to cook and like start an Instagram page, and like it's fun to do it. So like, I think just finding like something that you like that's not drinking or playing sports or like work, like something that makes you feel happy is just more fulfilling. It gives you a more interesting life too. You have something to talk about.
Cool. Yeah. So you have anything else for your fans out there that you think you need to drop gems for? That was a good that was a good like motivational.
Yeah,
ending.
go
like,
out there. Listen, just start today, because you're gonna die, and you need to start now, because your life is very short.
That's true. Well, thanks for hopping on this. Like I said, this is the first one, so you're kicking it off strong.
Sweet.
Maybe this format will go and like
Joe Rogan.
Keep it going. Yeah, like this is
the
Joe
Jamie
Rogan.
Over here.
Right. We're working. But no, excited to like be a part of it. Say I like saw it early on, right? And just, you know, I always thought as much as I hate to admit it, that's
why I came on this podcast.
Right? Sometimes you make me laugh.
Thank you.
So I think it's definitely going to continue to grow, and myself, my team, and like everything we'll do will continue to follow that.
Awesome.
Cool.
Been real. Xclsv to the moon.
Yeah. Fucking